Back to our Track 7 event, our final event of the day. Proud to announce Dr. Joseph Ponnoly with Synfidence Consulting. He'll be giving his talk on AI threats, risks, and governance.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure you must all be tired after so many long sessions. But this topic is supposed to be very important, and it should be exciting for cybersecurity professionals and IS auditors. I'll try to give as much information as possible about this topic. And if you have any questions, please interrupt me in between, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. I am Joseph Ponnoly. I work as a management consultant in cybersecurity, and I am also a researcher in cybersecurity. So today, what we are going to talk about is about artificial intelligence. Today, our keynote speaker, Professor Gene Spafford, he told us that computer technology is just 80 years old. 74 years ago, in 1950, Alan Turing, you know who Alan Turing is, he broke the Enigma code. He asked this question: can machines think? 6 years later, in 1956, there was a conference in Dartmouth College, and they discussed about thinking machines. And that was when this concept of artificial intelligence came into existence. Artificial intelligence, what does it mean? It means we are mimicking our human brain, the thinking capacity, the perceptions and the cognitive abilities of our human brain. Machines which can be intelligent and can think as human beings. So 74 years ago, or 70 years ago, it was just a part of science fiction. But today, we have thinking machines, we have robotic engines. Artificial intelligence has come of age, and today we are in the age of artificial intelligence. Times magazine said it is the AI revolution, and it is the age of possibilities, AI possibilities. Today I'll be focusing more on the risks, more than the promises, the perils of artificial intelligence. There is so much of fear, uncertainty, and doubt about artificial intelligence. So what are the risks? What are the imminent dangers of artificial intelligence? Will it take over the human race? Will human race be extinct? That is far-fetched, but we will discuss some of these. But more than that, how to control the risks, how to govern, how to contain the imminent dangers of artificial risks. So those are the topics that I'll be discussing, focused on the governance aspect of it. It becomes relevant today because, you know, a few months ago, Europe enacted the first AI Act, the Artificial Intelligence Act, which is trying to govern the various applications and uses, development and uses of artificial intelligence. Similarly, in October 2023, President Biden, he came up with the executive order trying to contain, trying to see that we have safe computing, safe artificial intelligence development and use, and trustworthy artificial intelligence. So coming to the promises and perils. So promises, so we are seeing ChatGPT, generative artificial intelligence, that has been a development just for the past 2 years only. Only in 2022, generative intelligence and ChatGPT, they became popular, and today almost everyone is using ChatGPT. But artificial intelligence, the core of artificial intelligence is machine learning. So initially, the development of artificial intelligence in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, expert systems were developed. And then in the 90s and early 2000s, we found development of supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning. And then we saw Google developed, IBM first developed the Watson technology, which was used for defeating the chess champion, Garry Kasparov. And then Google came up with Google Research and Google DeepMind, and they were able to develop the technology, what is called the reinforcement technology, deep learning and reinforcement technology, which defeated the Go champion. And that later on led to development of the large language models and what we see, generative artificial intelligence. So generative intelligence, it is creating new data. It is learning machines which learn and create new content. And that is what is creating concern, because that has led to development of deep fakes, misinformation, and so on. So we'll see some of these risks and how to contain some of these. So AI is everywhere. We are seeing robotics, industrial robots, robotic manufacturing in almost every manufacturing sector, in the transport sector, in Ford Motors, and so on. And in robots are also in the warehouses of Amazon. We have autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles. We have ChatGPT. We have robotic surgery in the hospitals. And we have virtual assistants. Almost every one of us has got the AI assistants, Siri and Alexa in the homes. And then we have algorithmic trading. And Wall Street, algorithmic trading is used. And we'll see some of the risks of that. And we have even AI advisors as legal assistants or even as medical assistants and so on. But the most concerning part of it is the development of the automated weapons which are being used for military purposes. So Henry Kissinger and Eric Schmidt, they published this book 2 years ago, The Age of AI. Henry Kissinger passed away last year, and he and Eric Schmidt, they were negotiating with China, because China is now competing with the United States in the development of AI technologies, and it is mostly being used for military purposes. So since Kissinger has been very influential with China, Eric Schmidt and Kissinger, they went to China and they had discussions with the Chinese authorities on how to contain the misuse or abuse of artificial technology, particularly for military purposes. So this book details some of the dangers of artificial intelligence and how it will shape the geopolitical relations and diplomatic relations, particularly between the developed nations, US and China, and also other nations which are now emerging as AI superpowers. But most important book which I have seen is Mustafa Suleyman's book, The Coming Wave. Mustafa Suleyman, as you know, he was the co-founder of DeepMind, Google DeepMind, and he was instrumental in development of the deep learning and reinforcement technologies of Google DeepMind, which defeated the AlphaGo. And they have been developing a number of applications, as we can see, in developing new drugs, drugs like which were able to a new drug which was able to defeat many of the drugs which are resistant to other antibiotics. They were able to, using artificial technology, they were able to develop a new drug, hyalocin. just by using deep learning, reinforcement learning techniques. And similarly, the same technology has been used for development of new materials, lithium batteries, and nanotechnology for using development of new materials, which have a lot of promises for development of new materials and for solving many of our problems like climate change and so on. So what is important about his book is he has also said that artificial intelligence, if it is developed at the pace at which it is going, it can be a threat to humanity. So he wants AI to be contained, and he has given a number of techniques to contain AI and its misuse and abuse. We'll come to that. So ChatGPT, or generative AI, it has been very popular these days. I've been using it quite frequently. So I asked ChatGPT the other day to summarize for me the book AI for Social Good by Dodia. He is head of artificial intelligence technologies at Microsoft. So I asked ChatGPT to summarize it for me, this book, and it gave me a good summary. Then I asked ChatGPT to give me chapter-wise summary of each of the chapters, and it gave me a good summary of this. And I asked for its reference. It gave me an APA reference for this. It looks really good, right? So that is the power of ChatGPT. But there is a problem with this. Can anyone say what is the problem? The problem is that whatever is written, has been given by ChatGPT is completely 100% wrong. So that is the danger of ChatGPT. The reason is there is something called hallucination. So when these LLM technologies, they don't have the data. So this book was published in 2024, and it is not by Abhishek Dodhiya. It is so, to correct that, I gave R. Dodhiya. Still, it didn't catch it. So then I asked ChatGPT, why did you get all this wrong? And ChatGPT apologized, saying that, I appreciate your patience. I apologize for the confusion. It seems there was some miscommunication. Based on the research I've done, it is by Rahul Dodhiya and will be released in February 24. The initial confusion came from attempting to provide detailed chapter-wise summaries, etc., etc. So the reason why we cannot rely on ChatGPT or LLM is that this particular problem is called hallucination. It just makes up whatever is the answer when it does not have data. So all these LLMs, OpenAI, all this ChatGPT and so on, their data is updated only up to 2022 or 2023, early 2023. They don't have the data after that. And their algorithms, they don't check the factual accuracy of the data. So they just make it up. So they just imagine. So don't rely on ChatGPT. So the caveat is always verify the outputs of ChatGPT. So this is just to remind you of some of the pitfalls of AI. We don't just blindly say that technology is always good. So AI can fail. Where else can it fail? So first we have to think of the safety risks, the imminent dangers of AI. AI is being used in autonomous vehicles. So we have a number of incidents where the Uber AI, the self-driven vehicle, it met with an accident, all because it could not distinguish between a divider. It was not trained on that particular data. So all these AI technologies, they rely on training data. So LLM, it has summarized almost the whole data that is available on the web. And you know, web data is hardly reliable. There is so much of junk data on the web. And if you summarize all that and use it for training the algorithms, then the algorithms get biased and you get wrong output, garbage in, garbage out. So that is one of the greatest dangers of all these AI, machine learning technologies, and the algorithms, because they are fed with data. They need more validated data, and the algorithms must be free from bias. We'll go into that. Now, AI is used in healthcare for robotic surgery. How reliable can you rely on that? So, uh, IBM Watson was used in MD Anderson for trying to predict the susceptibility of individuals for cancer of any particular. So they have the genomic data of individuals, and they have cancer data for nearly 75, 80 years, and that was used to train IBM Watson, which was very successful in defeating the chess champion. But then it found that IBM Watson technology was giving prescriptions which were totally wrong. So that was withdrawn after, later on. So all that, it indicates that there are a lot of risks, safety risks, particularly where AI technologies, artificial intelligence technology, being used in very critical areas like transportation, self-driving, autonomous vehicles, healthcare, and every critical infrastructure sector. There are 16 critical infrastructure sectors identified in US, from finance, healthcare, defense manufacturing, and so on, dams and so on. So wherever it is used, if you are blindly using AI, industrial robots, always see that we have to see that the dangers are identified and contained. We'll go into that in detail. So there are safety risks of AI. Again, AI can be abused. So those are the cybersecurity risks. So AI-enabled cyber attacks are now popping up. So we have AI-enabled malware. LLMs are used for creating new malware. And there are targeted attacks on AI systems. That's called adversarial machine learning. So machine learning itself is being poisoned, data poisoning and algorithm poisoning. Those are targeted by these malicious attackers on AI systems themselves. So just imagine a robotic system which is used for industrial manufacturing or self-driving cars. So, and it has happened. Those sensors are attacked, or those particular algorithms are being poisoned. Then instead of going in a particular direction, it can come away in a different direction. In fact, AI-based drones, the autonomous drones which were used in the Hamas war or even the Ukraine war, so those systems were attacked, and in some of the cases, so we have seen some attacks on hospitals in Palestine, and those attacks were attributed to Israel, but actually what happened was those systems were hacked into by Israel intelligence, and those algorithms were poisoned, and instead of the missiles pointing to Israel, they were pointing to themselves, and they attacked the hospitals. So those are the type of threats that can happen, particularly in military use. Autonomous weapons, as I mentioned, AI used for military purposes poses the highest risk, and those need to be looked into. So targeted attacks on AI systems, I said the algorithms can be manipulated. The data itself can be manipulated. As we have seen, data poison has been responsible for the mistake I showed in ChatGPT. So when you have poison data, when data which is not validated, and that is used for training this for training and machine learning, training the algorithms used for training data, then you will have garbage output. So military use of AI, that is the greatest risk, because AI is being used by um, adversaries, particularly all the adversaries, US adversaries, Russia, particularly China. China is now as AI superpower, and they are using, they have highly, they have artificial intelligence technologies being used for military purposes. So that is, yeah, that is creating the greatest danger to not only China or US, but to the whole world. And that is where we need a lot of governance, a lot of controls. We'll see what are the efforts, what are the initiatives globally, what are being done at the global level in these areas. So killer robots, autonomous weapons, and drones, autonomous drones, and drone swarms with facial recognition system. There was Mustafa Suleiman, he has mentioned about a particular incident which was not popularized globally, where the head of the nuclear research center in Iran, he was assassinated. And the technique used was, so he was holidaying on north of Iran on the lake, and suddenly he was shot from a parked vehicle, and then that led to his killing. But that parked vehicle, immediately it blew up. What actually happened was that particular vehicle, it was a self-driven vehicle, and it had sensors, it had facial recognition systems, and it was being controlled by a satellite, and it was given commands from the satellite to identify for facial recognition of this Iranian scientist. After he was identified, then the trigger for shooting him was done, and then the automatic and the command was also to blow up the vehicles. So that is the power of automated vehicles which are being used for military purposes. And that is where we need some controls. Again, one of the greatest dangers we have seen in 2016, there was so much of misinformation. And the misinformation was created by Russia, and they had misinformation, they had deepfakes and deepfakes factories creating misinformation for dissemination for the purpose of polluting our elections in 2016. And those factories were in Macedonia. So they had cottage industry, misinformation, deepfakes cottage industry in station in Macedonia, which was controlled by Russia. So misinformation and deepfakes again, they have been used against celebrities for sextortion, for intimidation, and even it has led to suicides of many people. So that is a threat against individuals particularly. But more than that, it is a threat to democracy. And it can be used for reinforcing, for creating false beliefs and hatred here and so on. So that is, and it can lead to political polarization. So the biggest threat to democracy will be misinformation, and we need to control that. So the question always asked is, what happens to jobs? Will it lead to job losses if AI, we have AI at the workplace? Certainly, there will be job losses, there will be changes. It's a threat to the current jobs. So normal routine jobs, which are routine, which can be replaced by robots, they will certainly lead to job losses. So every technology, new technology, whether it was the computer technology, when it is introduced, it can lead to change and it can lead to resistance. So we have to expect changes in the job scenario, job losses. So all that has to be done is to see that the workforce they are trained to the new type of jobs. So new type of jobs are coming. How to control AI. So even how to use AI for beneficial purposes. So, and every person, including the cybersecurity professionals and audit professionals or those in business leaders, they must be conversant with AI technologies and how to use it. So ChatGPT, LLM, it can be used beneficially. Only that we have to see that we put in enough safeguards to see that we have validated data and the algorithms are checked and so on. So another aspect of economic disruption as a result of AI will be in the field of the concentration of power. So already there is an AI race between the developed nations, particularly US and China. But the other nations, particularly in Europe, they are also coming up with AI technologies, even in Asia, India, Japan, South Korea, Australia. They are also coming up with their own AI capabilities. So what is happening is there will be an AI divide, just like a digital divide that is happening today between the West and the South, Deep South. So that can lead to geopolitical rivalry and even an AI war, a World War III or World War IV. So that is something which we have to guard against. Another thing that is ignored is the environmental impact. So with the rapid rise of LLM technology, they need supercomputing capability. So the computers, they require a lot of power, and that can impact our carbon, whatever we are trying to reduce, the carbon reduction goals of the UN. So ultimately, we have to see that green technology is used by all the countries while they are developing AI technologies. So Microsoft and Google and so on, they are aware of this, and they're trying to see that whatever chips they are manufacturing, they have started manufacturing chips on their own, and supercomputing chips are on the anvil, but they need a lot of power, and that can impact the environment. And that is something which has to be guarded against. So ultimately, there are ethical concerns about the development of AI, privacy, security, intellectual property. So we have all the data on the internet, on the web. They are all consolidated, and they are being used. So what about intellectual property? So we have to protect intellectual property. We have to protect privacy. We have to see that the data is free from bias. So the bias, algorithmic bias, you have seen that in Amazon. They had their algorithm which was used for recruiting purpose, and that was biased against women, and that was pointed out by one of their own employees. And then only it was found that the algorithm itself was had discriminated against ladies because of the algorithmic bias. So not only validation of the data, the biases in the algorithms which drive machine learning, that has to be taken care of. So ultimately, AI must be accountable, and it must be transparent. The problem with the deep learning, the neural networks and deep learning technologies, is that they are all black boxes. We do not know how the machine is able to come to a particular conclusion, because they are creating so much of feedback loops are there, and so much of data layers are there, and so many processing layers are there. Ultimately, the algorithm is not able to clearly identify how it came up to a particular conclusion. And that is creating problems. So if we say that, okay, so for algorithmic trading, if this stock is going to go up, so what is the rationale behind that? It has to explain that. So even in algorithmic trading, you know that New York Stock Exchange came to a halt a few years ago because the algorithm itself, it came to a halt, it was disrupted. So it can make mistakes. So unless we have explainable algorithms, explainable AI, and not black boxes, we will not be able to rely upon that data or the results of the data. That's why a new area is coming up, what is called explainable AI. We should be able to explain why the AI algorithm came up with a particular results. And AI should be accountable. So if a machine, intelligent, a robot is killing somebody, or a self-driven car is killing a particular person, who is responsible? Is it the car? Because the car is also has almost a human-like capability. In fact, a robot was given citizenship by Saudi Arabia. So is the robot responsible for the killing, or the maker of the robot? So who is the maker of the robot? Because a robot will have hundreds of components coming from various sources. So these are some of the legal questions that are coming up because of the developments of AI. So ultimately, the existential risk. So it is said that super intelligent AI that can surpass the human thinking capability, that is already in very many areas, the computer, the intelligent machines, they are able to surpass the capability of the human beings. But artificial general intelligence and super AI, that is predicted to be available by 2045, which means within 20 years, we'll have machines which will be able to do everything that a human being does. That is what is predicted. So in such a case, will the human race be at risk? Will it be an existential risk to human beings? And what about misuse of AI by various regimes? For example, in China, facial recognition is used for surveillance purposes. And so it can, if they have directed that against those who oppose the regime, it can be used by any dictatorial regime, as in Russia. So there is the threat to democracy. There is a threat to there is a threat that authoritarian regimes and those regimes which are opposed to democracy, they may come up and they may pose a threat to democracy and the human race and human civilization itself. So see, these are some of the risks. So we need to control AI and contain AI, govern AI, and AI systems to make AI safe, responsible, trustworthy, and AI should be used for social good. The Future of Life Institute and various other agencies, they have come up with various principles for governing AI. So in Asil Omar, AI principles were drafted by various scientists and so on. And they came up with various principles for governing AI. So there must be regulatory oversight, and there must be oversight of particularly the highly capable systems. And we should be able to identify what is real and what is synthetic, particularly in fake videos, deep fakes. So which is the original one? We have seen Obama giving a talk, and it was found that it was not Obama. So the European AI Act clearly mandates that whenever there is a video which is created by AI, it should be labeled whether it is genuine or it is fake. So understanding what is real and what is synthetic, and there must be auditing and certification. So that is what is the field for, that is a prospect for cybersecurity professionals and auditors. And liability for AI cause harm, AI safety, and sustaining democracy. AI must not be a threat to democracy. These are some of the basic principles, and these are available on the Future of Life Institute website. So regarding governance, a number of international efforts are already on. UN is aware of this, and they have created a number of initiatives for governing AI. And just last week, there was a summit for future life in New York, and there also they have created agencies or committees for seeing that governance of AI on a global level that is promoted by UN. And UNESCO also has given recommendations for AI ethics. And OECD and G20, they came up with their recommendations on AI transparency and fairness. And as a result of that, the AI Act, the European Union AI Act was enacted last month in August. And United States, but we don't have an AI Act, but we are moving in that direction. So the latest is the US Presidential Executive Order of October 2023, which has given detailed guidelines on AI research, development of AI, and use of AI. And they have particularly, the executive order is titled on safe, secure, and trustworthy development and use of artificial intelligence. It's a very detailed document which gives details of ensuring the safety and security of AI systems. And again, for risk professionals and security professionals, we have in US, we have the NIST AI Risk Management Framework 2023. And they have, so it gives details on how to conduct AI risk management or risk assessment. And it has been modified a few months back to include risk of LLM, the large language model, the ChatGPT type of risk. And then in 2022, the Biden administration also came up with the AI Bill of Rights for individuals. So if, particularly for deep fakes, for protecting privacy and safety of individuals and so on. The US AI Act is already in the offing. So we are seeing the Senate Judicial Committee hearings, they are progressing. But in Europe, they are one step ahead. They have already come up with the Act, European Union AI Act. So what is, in a nutshell, what they have done is it's a risk-based approach. They have highlighted what is unacceptable risk AI, the high-risk areas, transparency risk, and minimal risk. So unacceptable risk, whatever is violating human rights, fundamental rights, particularly discrimination, as I mentioned, the biases in recruitment or biases based on race, color, and so on, that is not acceptable. Then high-risk areas, whatever is impacting the health and safety of individuals. So they are focusing on AI products. So AI products, they have to be certified as safe. So that is one of the requirements of the European Act, and that is one area where cybersecurity professionals will have a lot of responsibility to certify AI or AI-based products as safe. And transparent AI is wherever the transparency risk, so risks of impersonation or manipulation or deception. So that is where if deepfakes and whatever is created, whether it's a video or audio, they have to be labeled as fake or genuine. They have to be they have to be labeled as genuine or original or created by AI, so that people will be aware that this could be a deep fake. And minimal risk is like AI used for spams or whatever, or recommender systems. So there, what is required is to create awareness, so create literacy, AI literacy among the people. And so this is a risk-based approach that they have adopted in European Union, in the European Union Act. So what is significant in the European Union Act, there are some exceptions. So research on AI, that is not prohibited. So it doesn't come in the way of innovation. So one criticism against regulating AI is that it will prevent innovation, innovative ideas, and innovative development. So EU AI Act, it promotes innovation, only that research must be conducted in a sandboxed environment. And if a product is released, then it has to conform to the risk rating and risk requirements. Similarly, AI used for military purposes, that is outside the scope of regulation. And even here in US also, whatever AI that is used for military purposes, that is outside the scope of regulatory controls. The EU Act, that is actually supplementing the GDPR privacy protection. So it is extending the GDPR in respect of AI data, AI-related data, for protecting the privacy and security of individuals. In other countries, particularly China, we are concerned about China. China also has got an AI regulation. And in the UN committee, there is a representative from China. So there is some global awareness of regulating AI, because AI weapons, they can be as lethal or even more lethal than nuclear weapons. So there has to be some sort of a deterrence. So there is a move globally to see that AI is regulated at the international level, just like the Atomic Energy Commission, International Atomic Energy Agency for overseeing nuclear reactors, and some sort of a nuclear proliferation treaty, to see that there is control over AI technologies which are particularly used for military purposes. So China has got AI guidelines for development, but that is used internally. But they don't prohibit the use of facial recognition for surveillance purposes, for mass surveillance purposes. Japan, Singapore, India, they are also focusing on containing or regulating the development of AI and also promoting AI. So India particularly is promoting AI for social good. So whatever benefits are there for AI, that has to be promoted. And regulations, they have to promote innovation and so on. The non-governmental agencies, again, so the major companies like Microsoft, Google, Meta, IBM, they have also their own internal guidelines, ethics guidelines in development of AI. But in some cases, they have not been followed. So we have seen the resignations from OpenAI, even from Google, people leaving who were responsible for development of AI. They have been leaving those organizations. But overall, there is an understanding, or there is an awareness that AI can be used for good and it can be used for evil also. So wherever it is being used for, wherever there is a possibility for abuse or misuse, it should be curtailed. World Economic Forum, it has also been promoting AI ethics and partnerships there is a consortium of the major players, AI players, so particularly the universities. They are collaborating on ethical and safe AI development. In risk management, NIST has come up with the risk management framework, which is also quite quite extensive. So they have clearly identified that AI risk is different from normal risk, because it has got societal implications. Normal technology risk or information risk is confined to an industry, an organization. It doesn't escalate to the societal level or even national level or international level. But AI has got the risk to cascade up to the national or international level. Pardon? Okay. So AI audit, there are audit frameworks which can be used, and AI audit. So EU AI Act requires AI audit. So that is one opportunity for AI professionals. In safety research, we have a number of universities. So Stanford, MIT, Media Lab, Oxford University, then Georgetown University, and there are think tanks like Brookings and Rand Corporation and Future of Life Institute. They're all doing excellent work in the area of AI safety and so on. So the challenges are the technology developments, they outpace regulatory developments, and it is very difficult to enforce these regulations. And as I said, deep learning technologies, systems, they are black boxes still. And governance, it requires a global coordination. It is difficult, balancing innovation and regulation, and transparency and accountability. Human safety is important, particularly in industrial robots and cobots, self-driving cars, and autonomous systems used for military purposes. So the greatest difficulty is autonomous decision making. What if these machines are able to decide on their own? What if they decide one day to press the button for the nuclear, for starting a nuclear war? So what is required is the future of AI with in 2045, we are expecting artificial general intelligence, which means intelligent machines which can surpass human intelligence. So will it be a utopia or dystopia? So AI, the developments, they indicate that it will be an age of abundance. We'll be able to deal with our major problems of poverty, disease, even climate change, have new materials. We will be able to conquer disease. So it will be an age of abundance. But the dystopian view is that there is existential risk with artificial general intelligence. It could be an extension of the human race. So what is required is international cooperation and regulation and oversight, and frameworks and regulations to keep pace with the advancements in technology, and of course, transparency, fairness, and accountability. And we need safe, responsible, and trustworthy AI. Ultimately, the human must be in the loop. Thank you so much.